Power. Speaking your truth with vulnerability. I'd like to tell you a little bit of a story, what happened over the past few weeks, the processes I went through, and how that at the end today actually got me a prize, the very first prize I won in my entire life. Let's talk about man's work. I have immersed myself over the past few weeks in what I would refer to as man's work. Now, depending where you're coming from with your own worldview, this will be filtered, obviously, through different lenses and therefore yield different results in what you're going to conclude. Now, since I don't know what that is, I will just give you my view of man's work and what that means for me. I think the society as we have it right now is below, way below, suboptimal, to express it in a mildly fashion. We have wars going on, we have violence, we have isolation, we have disorientation, we have hamster wheel. Basically, we have a matrix in place that trains people a certain way. And I think this certain way is not really in alignment with nature or universal principles. Now, man's work is not something new. In the 1990s, there was actually a huge movement, and it was surrounding a guy called Robert Bly and a book called Iron John. Now, the history part I'm just starting to dig into, so I understand there's way more to this. But it seems that in the 90s, the work has peaked, and the work is about guiding man back into their true nature of manhood. And from what I understand and experience so far, this is really about what it means to be naturally a man, and on the other side, what it means to be naturally a woman. So that would then refer to the woman's work. So the way I see it is like this, that men have suppressed women for a very long time. And then there was the counter movement of the feminism, which of course makes sense, right? Because the pendulum has to swing in the other direction after being pushed into one direction for so long. But then things got somehow mixed up, because now it's all about against men, or at least in some regards. And also I think there is a huge mix-up of like the roles and all about equality, so that women can and should do the same things as men do. And I understand that, and I think to a certain degree it absolutely makes sense. But here I want to try to entangle all of this mix up a little bit and really have a deeper look into what are the actual energetics behind it. And the way I see it is that the feminine energy and the masculine energy are different movements in consciousness. So the feminine is all about nurturing and taking care and intuition, whereas the male energy or the masculine energy is about direction, awareness, protection, and basically leading. Now, I understand that if you filter all of this through the lens of equality, that might not land very well in your own consciousness, because you might feel that one or the other side is suppressed. But this is really not where I'm coming from, and this is in my understanding, also not what the man's work or the woman's work movements are about. But through all of this process, immersing myself in men's groups and really connecting with other men from human to human, but also connecting with women in a deeper way, or just humans in general, I have been learning something very profound in this process. And that is that through vulnerability and openness, if you have a positive structure that supports this, so you have a group that is open-minded, caring and loving, and you share your vulnerability, something magical happens. And this magic is connection, healing, and growth. I think society, the way we have it, is the way it is because we have forgotten who we are. Like, we have forgotten that we are a soul. Now, religion obviously tries to protect that, but religion is also dogmatic and has all kinds of additional beliefs surrounding that, which then at the end really, in my view, suppresses the true nature of the being. So what I have been learning is that when men come together, and I would assume that in women's circle the same thing happens, although obviously I can't join a woman's circle. And I'm going to leave a bunch of links in the description so you can dig deeper into these topics, whether you're a woman or a man. And also join some groups if you'd like, because I think it's really helpful. So when I joined this men's group and we share how we actually feel, what's happening in our consciousness in this moment, and everybody does that, there is a deeper connection happening. And this connection is beyond worldview, beyond opinion, beyond even like all these role understandings, because it's just like, how do you feel as a human being? And what I'm learning, especially for me personally, is that I feel deeper connected, which is something that I always struggled with, to find deeper connection. And it has to do with my worldview, that somehow I never could really relate to other human beings because I was simply not interested in what they are doing or what they are sharing. Like, my interest is very different. It's mostly spiritual in nature, deeply spiritual, deeply questioning why are we here, what's the meaning of life, and all of these things. And I noticed that most humans just are not interested in this. But now, through this process of vulnerability and positive structure, I can suddenly connect on a very deep and profound level. I can actually connect, I would say, on the soul level. And what I'm seeing here is really a shattering of the shell we have built around us. And it is this very shell that basically prevents soul level connection. And it also prevents seeing our soul within us, because the shell is the shadow eventually. So we learn to protect ourselves from the world because we got hurt. Many of us got through very painful experiences. So I understand we had to find ways instinctively to protect ourselves. But this very protection is now a shell that dims our own light. And I can share this a little bit in another context to make this more tangible and actually also actionable, because at the end, what we're going to do about it and how we're going to build a better world. So as I'm immersing myself in this man's work, I'm also noticing some fears coming up. Fears of connecting, fears of sharing really in these groups how I'm feeling and being seen, being vulnerable. It takes some courage. But I also noticed that there are other fears in life. For example, I have fear of public speaking. Hence, I have this YouTube channel. And also, I went to 2 Toastmasters event. Toastmasters is an international organization that has local groups all around the world that helps each other to improve your public speaking skills. So it's the perfect place to train yourself in giving speeches in front of other people. So I went there and I faced my deepest fear. And as I was doing that and actually got the chance to directly address this fear by talking about this fear, something magical happens. The fear actually started to transform into some sort of passion. And I realized that this advice of follow your bliss or follow your excitement is a two-edged sword. Because if you are carrying around a lot of fear, you might actually not really notice what your passion is because it's numbed under this burden of your own fear. So your consciousness won't allow to have imagination about certain things that would actually be your highest excitement, which for me seems to be public speaking. So even though there might be some glimpses here and there, my daily consciousnness immediately would shut that down. So I went to this event and it was beautiful. And this morning I went to another one. And as for the table topic, I got asked a question, which I gladly answered and shared. And the question was there a moment in my life that felt like I had won the lottery? And there was. And let me share this little story with you because that is what actually got me the prize. So I was working in IT as a computer specialist, but I didn't really know how to build software. So I wanted to also become a software engineer. So I went through school, but I was already in an age where this was more difficult to get into because I had not did not do this from early on. So I was already 10 years into the workforce, and it was not that easy at the time to actually get into. So I applied what I know about manifestation and visualization and imagination. So I just envisioned the technology I wanted to work with and the environment I wanted to be in, and also how I wanted to be supported by my manager and the peers around me, and that it would be something exciting to work on. And it did not take very long, and I was exactly working in this position. It was so exciting that on Monday mornings, when I drove to work, it felt like going to the beach. And on Friday evenings, I was sad that the week was over and looking forward to Monday again. So I shared this story, and I didn't actually know that there was a voting going on, but at the end, somebody walked over to me and gave me this here. Best table topics. Now, for me personally, this was amazing because it confirms the breadcrumb that I'm on right now to really follow basically the fear almost and digging really into what is discomfort, following the discomfort instead of just the excitement, because there is great gold in there. I know this is all over the place a little bit. I just wanted to summarize the past few weeks. There is much more in there to share. I don't know how much over the place this was right now. So I just leave you with this right now, and I hope that you could get something out of it, and that you actually maybe use this to do something in your own life that you're scared of, and walk through that fire and see how you feel when you come out on the other side. Thank you very much.